Success is something we create for ourselves. A study by Harvard University has shown that exceptional people are made and not born, and behavioral scientists reiterate this when they go a step ahead and say that exceptionality is determined by the choices we make, whatever the circumstances. But at the heart of all this is a very basic principle, the understanding of the self, strengths and weaknesses.
Whether growing is a consequence of working on your gaps or really furthering your strengths. And there's this very interesting book called Good to Great by Jim Collins, and he speaks beautifully about focusing on what are your biggest opportunities and not focusing on what your biggest gaps are like. And look at it very simply. If you wanted to teach Tendulkar how to be even more effective, would you focus on his batting, which is his strength, or would you say, why don't you become a fielder like John T. Rhodes? So focusing on your strengths is where big shifts happen. Yeah, there are startling deltas and gaps. I don't think they can be ignored, but real big shifts happen when you focus on your strengths. This entire concept of core competence is about building on your strengths.
Which is interesting because somewhere managers are expected to do far more. When you turn from an individual star performer to a successful manager and team player, you are expected to broaden your horizons.
That's right.
So how do you keep in touch with your core competence as you go up?
Step one is really knowing what your core competence is. And once you know on it, then you can take steps to, see which aspects of it need to be built. I think what really, before you get into building for that, it's again interesting to go back to the wiring of the brain. To see, if I want to change, if I want to learn a new technique, where in my brain is that learning taking place? Broadly, if you look at, there's a rational part of the brain called the neocortex, an emotional part of the brain called the limbic system. The rational part is where all our reasoning comes from. It's from where we learn. You can teach the rational part of the brain through logic. 2 plus 2 equals 4, logical, stays there. Unlikely to change very quickly, that learning just stays with you. Whereas a lot of drivers for performance, like motivation, like the inner drive, you'll see exceptional people are largely internally driven, irrespective of the environment, they'll drive themselves. Those things are nestled in the limbic system. When we get people to change, we use logic to change them, which works for only a part of the brain. But when you want to really change these deep-rooted behaviors, the techniques are different. You have to talk to the limbic system. And the
How do you talk to the limbic system?
Certainly not by using logic. But the way the limbic, like Daniel Goleman really pointed out, the limbic system learns best through continuous motivation, through continuous feedback, and through continuous practice, right? So the limbic system, the limbic system has learned to be a certain way. My motivation is this, I've learned to be a certain way. If I want to change that, the new way, continuously motivate, continuously give feedback, continuously practice the new way, and that's when the limbic system will shift. It takes time.
So as Tarun says, setting up your goals and knowing your strengths is the first step towards success. But what you also need to do this well in your workplace is get constant feedback.
There are certain building blocks of the individual which are very true even for teams, right? Let's look at a very simple thing called managing your emotions, stifling impulsiveness. We spoke briefly of the marshmallow experiment, and what we notice in people who are high performers, one of their fundamental characteristics is they are able to wait for the returns on their effort, right? And that holds true for an organization, that holds true for an individual. Organizations today are able to say, let's not focus only on the quarter, but let's also focus on the 5-year horizon, the 10-year horizon. There are documented studies of certain Japanese organizations like Toyota having a 100-year vision, really stifling the impulsiveness to just capture market share and profit today, also having that. So there are others. Focusing on your core competence, your core strengths is something that's relevant for both.
Okay, let's shift focus a little and talk about how the way you are determines how you respond. And if you know the way you are, you know what your response is going to be. And perhaps in an adverse situation, you can second guess what you're going to do and hence improve on it. Can you explain how an individual individual's personality actually influences how he or she reacts to situations?
We go back to the patterned and the conditioned way of being. So I condition myself to respond in a certain manner to a given stimulus. But like we spoke last time, when the stimulus changes, the response needs to change as well. And those responses could be from the neocortex or from the limbic system. So simply speaking, logical responses or emotional responses. And somewhere you need to constantly engage with both parts of your brain to understand how you will respond differently. The stimulus usually is the same, it is the response that is different, right. People will constantly choose based on how well they continuously rewire.
So what are the different kind of behaviors when you actually react to situations? If you can take us through that.
When you react to situations, the fundamental behavior is an automatic behavior. Now, let's look at a simple situation when we respond to differences, right? When you deal with conflict in an organization, when you deal with divergence of views in an organization, the automatic responses in behavioral science are simply called fight and flight. I either want to have my way, so I fight that situation, or I just say, I give up and say, okay, you have your way. Those are automatic responses. They were designed for very good reasons. There's nothing wrong with them. They were designed to keep you in survival mode, the human being in survival mode. But somewhere there's a better response possible. Instead of just moving into automaticity, how do you move into chosen ways of being?
And that is something years of study on behavior has proven. On the other side, we discuss why it's so important to be patient to achieve your goals and what separates exceptional people from the rest.